And I think we're live!
Ooh.
Hello, everybody! So great to see you here for another AMA.
Yeah.
What up, people? What are your names?
My name is Gabriel Urbina. I'm the writer and creator and executive producer of Wolf 359.
My name is Sarah Shackett. I am a writer and producer on this show.
I just run the feed.
Yeah.
He's-
AV.
This is Bob.
Yeah, ignore Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever are you bobbing me? No, bothering Bob. Why?
So I guess this would be a good time to talk
Yes,
about
about
spoilers.
So welcome to our monthly Patreon AMA, guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you guys
here.
so much.
As always, consider this your spoiler alert. We're going to be considering everything up to and including episode 54, The Watchtower. That includes the Loveless flashback special.
Yep.
And our first Mission Mishaps mini episode. Just everything Wolf 359 related is open season for spoilers tonight. So
All
if
the spoilers, folks.
you are
Yep.
not caught up and you care about things as spoilers, you maybe want to
Leave
bookmark
now.
this page,
Yes.
come back.
We'll be
It'll
here.
be
Later.
here. It will actually live forever. So you can come back
We
to
got a
it.
couple awesome friggin' shirt, Gabrielle.
It is
Gabrielle
pretty
winning
great.
that
Thank you.
shirt
It's
game.
pretty great.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
As always, if there are tech problems, you let me know
Yeah,
in that chat.
just let him know.
And ask questions in that chat. And you know what? If I don't see it, keep putting it in that chat.
The chat does move.
And just because I know that you guys are probably curious, second Mission Mishaps will be out later tonight.
Yep.
We just finished recording the last bit of it literally 10 minutes ago.
It was great.
It'll
is
be out
why we're a
later
little
tonight.
late.
Yep.
We are, needless to say, still adjusting to the weekly Wolf 359 schedule.
Yes. Which is
especially,
thanks to you
which is
guys.
thanks to you guys,
And it's kind of insane.
especially because we spent how many 22 hours this weekend in the studio recording.
Was it only 22?
I
it
mean,
might have been.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, 22 plus like
Plus,
the time
like-
around it.
Oh, yeah. That,
For
that was
setup.
also
Setup and,
sarcasm.
Yeah.
No.
I think it was about that.
But yeah, we are now thick into. We recorded most of episodes 55 through 60.
Yeah.
There's just a
There's
couple
still-
quick
It really
there's
pickups.
is
some
our
holes.
idea of a great weekend.
It really
Have
was.
a
Well, it
normal
actually-
work week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a normal work week into 4 days.
Starting at 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
For the great salary of subsidized dad. But
Right.
actually, though, thanks to you guys, this is something that we're actually not going into debt for anymore. And not only starting to pay ourselves back, but actually approaching a point where we can compensate the incredible people that have been involved in the show, that have been doing this just for the love of the art and for this community that you guys make possible. So thank you.
Yeah.
Our episodes are not just Zach Valenti talking to him. Well, our episodes are
Yes,
not
that's
always
always.
just Zach Valenti talking to himself.
This is true.
Not
Yeah.
anymore, anyway.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay.
fine.
We
It's fine.
still found ways to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Zach. Why don't we?
Let's do some
Why don't we
questions.
get started with?
For Lord's sake.
Let's actually answer what the people want to hear.
All right, so to start out on what I can only say starts out well,
Uh huh.
Okay.
and I quote, "I know it's dumb.
Great.
I know,
Right.
all right? But let me continue.
Great.
Mhm.
Have you ever considered the possibility of a
Mhm.
romantic interested,
Okay.
I read verbatim,
Okay.
typos included, between Hira
Zach is merciless.
and our favorite communications officer,
Uh,
Lambert, obviously?
Obviously.
Obviously.
That's the one.
During our first 2 seasons, I sensed a hint on that direction, but that was gone afterwards.
I think it's been.
Gone
Yeah.
afterwards.
You know, if anything, I think that we have considered it and sort of, more than anything, been aware of it as a possibility and tried to steer
Yeah.
things around it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's been sort of a philosophical thing that, like, there would be no romantic attachments between the people on
yeah,
this
between
show.
kind of the main cast
Yeah.
on the show.
Mhm.
But we are aware of it, and I think that it is right to pick up that their relationship is an affectionate one.
Yes.
But yes.
I think that there's also just something to be said for the amazing chemistry between the actors.
Yes, that's true, too.
Which is there.
And all the more impressive because you guys don't record together that often.
Right. As my
Yeah.
parents once awkwardly sat me down and discussed, there are many different kinds of love in this world, Zach.
No, but like
Doesn't need to be romance to be love.
No, but
Yeah.
jokes
No, I
aside,
see.
Wolf
Yeah.
359 really is an exploration of kind of non-romantic love and non-romantic
Yes.
relationships for the most part.
Bam. The majority of love in the universe? Question mark.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's math. That's love math. Our new podcast. No. Kill
Laugh.
Laugh.
Kill it.
Laugh.
It's not
Oh.
good.
Love.
I
Tonight's
never
gonna-
said it was good.
Tonight's gonna be fun.
Oh boy. Great.
Okay, great.
Asked and answered.
All right. For a more straightforward question,
Uh-huh.
murder, marry, screw the SI5 gang.
Sarah, you can go first.
How selfless.
Casually throws Sarah
Yeah.
under the bus.
Stop.
Wow. This is 5 minutes in, you guys.
Yeah. Kepler. Next question.
Word.
Yes. I don't think we can top that.
I think that's all we really can say about that. Yeah.
Jacoby.
Jacoby.
Just saying.
Do that.
Yeah. I think it's really Jacoby and Kepler,
Uh-huh.
Maxwell, Jacoby and Kepler.
And what gets what
What
in each
is-
of
so is
those?
So
that
murder- Jacoby and Kepler.
Uh-huh.
Marry Maxwell.
Uh-huh.
Screw Jacoby and Kepler.
And screw Jacoby
but
and Kepler.
theoretically and hopefully before the murder.
Ooh.
This is getting weird. Let's move on. Play me off.
Ding 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 ding
Uh,
ding 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 bam bam bam. Off to a classy
Let's-
start
Yeah,
here
no.
at Kind of Evil Genius headquarters.
We're nothing. What is
All right.
the thing from Singing in the Rain?
Dignity. Always dignity.
That's us.
Now that we know
Mhm.
what Eiffel's ranking of the music was on
Oh.
day 510, what would the ranking, top 3, currently be?
Oh
God.
Lord.
Bolero. No.
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 Oh,
Incorrect.
Nightmare Day.
Well, it's kind of like past that point because like we sort of did the math and it's like that was I think squarely around episode 7 is
Yeah,
around where that's
thereabouts.
supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And really after that point,
There
most of
isn't
the time the
that
music gets really
much.
traumatic and when it
Yeah.
does show up because it's like the planets. Oh yeah, that day that like poor Hera got her brain torn apart.
Oh,
Tchaikovsky's Overture,
Overture?
that wasn't fun.
No.
Bolero, that was really not fun at all.
Yeah, I think the only piece is the one in Back to the Future that might be in the running.
Right, the air.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, the Bach.
And I forget which one it was.
It was
now,
there.
but-
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, he might like that one.
Yeah.
Positive associations. Yeah.
There really aren't that many positive associations with the music, though.
You also note that he didn't like really strictly rank
This
them for the
is
most
true.
part. It was
He
more
was
of
just
a
sort of pulling them.
collection of ones he liked.
I like to
Yeah.
think that he found Loveless's cassette/CD player
Mm-hmm.
and found the Sam Long Mel
Oh,
Sue
he
music.
found the Honey
Oh
and
yeah,
Sing.
yeah.
Honey and the Sting.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paradise Valley.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He would like. He would
Valley
enjoy
found
He
that.
would
the
like
Sting
that.
from the
Yes.
special, and he's like, "Yeah, aliens, you got nothing on that."
Which is true.
Yeah.
They don't have.
He
anything
probably
on
likes
that.
now that he's heard it, he probably likes the Sonata Pathétique
Yes,
from the Watchtower.
From the Watchtower.
Mm.
Yeah, he probably has some good associations with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like thank you Beethoven, you probably saved us from destruction.
Yep. And
Yeah.
the Vivaldi piece that he heard in Dirty Hands, probably not that bad.
Yeah, probably not that bad.
But like,
Yeah.
anyway.
So this is a question that I can just upfront spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a good answer. Please don't find out, because we hope it doesn't happen. How the heck has Alan Rhodey not been stolen away from you guys
Oh,
yet?
God.
Their
We have
music
no
idea.
scoring is fantastic.
My nightly recurring nightmare.
You're
Yeah.
right. Let's
It's-
pretend this question never came up.
Yeah.
No, and like I'm gonna tell you why, and like it's gonna
the
make Alan
universe
even
is
more
unfair.
fantastic, and it's that
Yeah.
right now he's more interested in teaching than in composing. Like composing is the thing that he does for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and we're just
no.
lucky that he likes us.
It is sort of
Yes.
like, his dedication to, like, right now what he's trying to work on is his craft of teaching.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It is. We
Kind
are
of a wonder.
scandalously lucky.
Here's a question that I look forward to hearing the answer. Ahem. Were there any scenes you felt were maybe just okay, but then the actors went and got all actory up in there and made it amazing?
I mean, more often than not, there are
That's
scenes that are
usually-
amazing on the page, and then the actor, like, and you're hearing, all right, well, it's fine.
Cough, cough. Shows himself out. Shuffle, shuffle.
No,
Come back, Zach. We love you.
Most scenes, honestly, they come alive
Honestly.
when you hear the actors say them, because these people, unlike us, can speak.
Yes. Unlike yours truly.
No.
No.
I'm trying to think of like something in particular. Every single piece of Minkowski commanding belongs
Oh God,
to
yeah,
Emma
yeah,
Shajarko.
no.
That
And that was an episode that
Yeah.
I barely gave direction that time because it was just like, I'm getting out of the way of this train.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one that Emma just completely owned, and the madness and the manicness really came from her.
Like entirely.
I can't count the number of times that I don't think that we were like, oh, this is okay. I think that there have been times that we went, this is really weird and it doesn't work. And then sort of the actors kind of went, I'll make it work.
Yeah.
Hold my
No.
champagne.
Yeah.
Variations on a theme
I
was
was gonna
something
say,
that
yeah.
I think we
Cece
were
is
all
a champion of this.
we were all kind of mentally preparing ourselves for this. May be something that we record and we edit and then we don't release,
Yeah.
just because it didn't come together.
Right.
Um,
That was my understanding when we tried it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's just
Cece
like was gonna be a thing that
Oh
we would
my
try.
God.
and Cece
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
burninated the country mind. Zach and Michaela in Back to the Future. I think that
Yeah.
was also one of those. I'm a little bit nervous. We hadn't done one of those kind of like this is just one single scene of people talking for the entire episode.
Right.
But they made it so charming and funny and riveting.
And just held it together. Yeah.
And I think that Need to Know, just the
Oh.
totality of Need to Know, was sort of something that I kind of looked and I was like, this is okay. I guess this is amusing. But then you put it in the hands of Noah and Michelle and Emma and
This
Cece and
is
Michaela, and it was
exactly how I felt
hilarious.
about constructive criticism. I was
Mhm.
very, very nervous about that script, and then these guys were they knocked it out.
They
of the
bring it
park.
home, yeah. No, they really, really do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of all the actors, not just this one. All right. Do y'all have a contact email that could be put down on the PodCon guest suggestion
Ooh.
form? We do.
We
It's
do.
wolf359radio@gmail.com.
Yep.
Once again,
Again,
that
that's
is Wolf359 Radio.
All
The
one
radio
thing.
is important. At gmail.com.
Exactly.
Yes.
My
And
understanding is that PodCon is booked. If you have it different, please be right, because we
Yeah.
would love to be there. We will be there if we're invited. We'll be there if they bring us down. Otherwise, we're not currently planning to be there. Same is true of
Pretty much any
HintraCon.
convention.
Yeah,
Right.
or any
Yeah.
convention. So it really depends on if you guys
Right.
have a place that you think it would be cool for us to be. Contact the organizers. Let them know.
Yeah. We love going places and meeting people.
Yep.
We also kind of are at a maximum of the amount of time that we can give this show out of our
Yes.
working, starving artist lives.
This is very true.
So it's hard to kind of justify spending however many dollars it takes to
Yeah.
get to places more
Right.
than once or twice a year.
This is
Yep. So, yeah. But thanks for asking. We would
Indeed.
love to be a part of any con where you guys are going to be there.
yeah.
Any updates on finding a place to post the newer soundtrack pieces? There's been some great new ones lately.
Yeah.
We need to work on this. Yes.
We do. I will admit.
It's an overdue conversation.
I will
Yeah.
admit that it's an overdue conversation and has been something that has been in the back burner. I think that we are feeling the lack of the mid-season hiatus
Yes.
in things like those, and in some needed website management and some sort of like updates of kind of the ancillary social media of the show.
Yeah.
I think that we are feeling the fact that this season is really a long-distance marathon rather than a sprint, the way that some of our other seasons were a little
Had
bit
some
more of a
breaks.
like series of sprints.
Yeah.
It is something that we all just need to really
Sit
sit
down
down
and
and
do.
talk about.
Yeah. And as soon as we have information for you guys, we will let you know. We promise.
Yes.
It looks like the audio and video are out of sync.
Oh, no!
Fun
I
stuff.
am not clear that I can do anything about that. Try refreshing the page and let me know if that makes a difference.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
But thank you for letting us know.
Indeed.
Yep. Which character would you be most likely to get into a physical and/or verbal altercation with?
Good lord.
P.S. Which element are you?
Oh, I'm waterbender. Yeah.
Is that the question?
I
don't-
think so.
Or is it
If it's an
Element-
element about like if it's an element in the periodic table, then I'm definitely polonium. But
Well, is that because of Polonius or because of...
no, it's because of all the obvious characteristics I share
Yes.
with that great element.
Yes. Say more.
Yeah,
Please
More
don't
than
ask me any
neon
more
myself.
questions.
Oh, gold, baby, gold.
Yeah, neon over here.
No, but the original, the actual sort of like core question was which character we would get into a physical
Fight with.
altercation with.
I mean, I would not like to get into a physical altercation with anyone.
Right.
Even Eiffel, he's twitchy.
Yeah, I feel scrappy.
Yeah.
I'd probably want to kill Eiffel before anybody else.
That's kind of
Um,
that's kind of the thing. Like,
yeah.
you know, realistically, like just sort of like which one might I actually get into a fight with? I feel that Eiffel would be sort
Yeah.
of like the wrong place at the wrong time. We get into an argument about something really dumb.
Really stupid.
Mostly because it's
spirals
his fault.
downwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he would be more likely. I feel like he and sort of Lovelace are the belligerents.
But like I'm not attacked. But
No,
like
no,
I'm not
no,
laying
I'm
a
not
finger
getting-
on
no,
Lovelace
not
because
at
I
all.
would die instantly.
No. I'm
No,
not
it's-
foolhardy enough.
And likewise, I'm not fighting Kepler or
No.
Cutter or Price,
Or even
all of
Minkowski.
whom would reduce me to a smear in a wall instantly.
No.
Yeah, it's basically Eiffel. I think we'd all just beat up on Eiffel.
Sounds about right.
Oh, the sad
Yeah.
truth.
And like we might not come out the better for
No,
out of that fight,
But at
because
least
we
that
are
would be a fight
all-
that we could walk
we are
away
all
from.
soft-bodied writers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a true fact.
Cool.
Remember, if you have more questions, put them in the chat.
Yes.
Zach will
Zach
keep
will
an
see
eye
them.
out for them. The chat can move quickly, so if you ask something and it isn't answered, ask it again. Just keep putting it
Yep.
on there.
Yep.
Persistence wins out in the end.
Will you guys... that's the same thing about the music.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. Were Maxwell and Jacoby in a queer platonic relationship? Sounds like a friendship where they are also queer? I've never heard of that before.
Yes, I will
Yeah.
admit that I'm
I'm not
not-
unfamiliar with the term, but I have a feeling it sort of means that they are perhaps both identify as queer but are in a platonic relationship
Maybe
with
it's
each
an
other.
ace queer
I'm not
relationship. I'm not sure.
If you
Yeah.
know,
If you know in the chat, let us know.
let us know. Obviously, since we are unfamiliar with the term, we did not write that intentionally.
Yeah, that was not what we had
Yeah.
in our minds as the target.
But may not be incorrect.
Yeah. As is often the case, many interpretations end up being quite applicable.
Oh, yeah.
And many ways of looking at the characters end up being very, very apt, even if they're not something that we had in mind.
Yep.
Okay, I know. No musical episodes. But can any of the cast or crew sing for real?
Yes, members
Yes.
of the cast
They're
can sing for real.
Annoyingly talented.
They are really
Um,
good at it, actually.
Michaela can sing. Cece
Cece
can
can
sing.
definitely sing.
Cece's a great singer.
Zach Labresco can sing. Scotty
Yes.
Shoemaker can sing quite well.
Yep.
I do sing, although I don't know
Yeah.
if the jury's in on whether I can.
I know that Noah Mazer was in at least one musical
Yes.
play.
He can sing.
And
Michelle
Oh,
can sing.
Michelle can
Yeah.
definitely sing.
a musical movie that
I think
know
that's
of.
pretty much everyone except for you and
Yeah.
But
and Emma.
Oh, and
Emma, who was a complete bro and
Yes.
did us a favor with the Pirates of Penzance.
But she was not.
But she was not
Yeah.
enormously happy about me putting that in the script.
Alan has a beautiful singing voice.
Alan has a wonderful singing
Unsurprisingly.
voice.
I've never heard him sing.
It's great.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
It's quite lovely. And Ariella Rotenberg, who
Yes,
plays Rachel,
she can
is
sing.
a terrific singer.
There was a fair amount of singing this weekend.
This weekend,
between
yes.
takes. It was great.
Yes. So yes, no, all the talent, all the firepower is there. It is
Yeah.
just not quite the right fit for the show. Really, the
Alas.
most musical that we will get
Is what
was A
just
Little Night
yeah, yeah.
Music,
That-
the first mission, Mishaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a fun one.
Uh-huh.
Well, so long as we're on music, what's Minkowski's favorite Sondheim show?
Ooh,
I think we've said Into the Woods is probably the one that,
That-
speaks to her the most.
that probably would be right. I would say like there might be an argument to be made for Sunday because
Yes.
she's referenced it so much.
She
but I
has.
think, but that's really because we like Sunday. No, I think Into the Woods is right.
Yeah. No, I think I've said this on Twitter, but you do not know how many Bob in the Watchtower references. He quotes a little bit of Sunday in the Park with George.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many episodes of Wolf 359
That
that
has
has been
been
in
in
and has gotten taken out of.
So many.
Um,
And there is also, I think, in terms of like our Sondheim quote count, Sunday in the Park with George is winning.
you're not wrong.
I
Yes.
think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little bit of it in Memoria as well.
Yes.
So we have. 1 second. Questions from the chat.
Ooh,
One is more of a demand.
great.
Wolf 359 karaoke. Do it, film it, share it with posterity.
All right.
Okay.
I'll get my negotiator. I'll let him know that these are the
Yeah.
demands, and we'll see what we can do.
I think
yes.
it's
I look
fun.
forward to that $1 million check that I will be receiving for my services.
That's funny. When will Emma sing Guns and Ships?
God.
Ugh.
It's pretty great.
I do not know the
I
answer to
don't
that
know.
question.
And again, like, I think we've talked about this before, but that is one of the great things that if Minkowski does make it back to
Oh,
Earth,
she'll
she
have
has,
Hamilton
she has
waiting for
that
her.
to look forward
Yes.
to, because she is currently unaware of the existence
She-
of this
yes.
Hamilton play.
She may know about In the Heights, maybe.
Right.
But she doesn't know about Hamilton.
No.
Did we see It?
You have
It
seen
being-
I
it.
did see it.
The movie, the horror film from
I have not.
the mind of Stephen King.
Mr. Stephen King, yes. Yes, I did see it. I enjoyed it.
I was gonna say I like my sleep.
And like sort of the caveat is that I read the book It a very long time ago, so I kind of knew
What you're
Yeah,
getting
what
what
you
the
were
blows
going
were
for.
going to be, and
Yeah.
I thought it did a good job with all those. I'll say this much for It. It's rare to see a movie about kids that just has a hard R rating,
Yeah.
which means that these kids talk like actual kids when they're 12, which means wall-to-wall profanity. And I was
Yes.
just like, I find this very refreshing. It'd been a while since I'd seen a movie about kids where the kids could just actually talk
The
the
way
way
that
that a
kids do.
12-year-old talks.
Yeah.
So I think it is worth seeing if you can stomach a horror film for that aspect of it alone.
One day YouTube will have a feature that
Uh-huh.
will make us our world like Scott Pilgrim's world through live
Uh-huh.
stream, so I can go bloop, and then it'll bleep it,
Lord.
because that'd be bloop, awesome.
How are you doing that with your mouth?
Yeah, no.
I mean, definitely not my hand. Anyway,
If you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim
You
versus the
should-
World,
you should-
check out Scott Pilgrim versus the
yeah,
World.
it's
seriously,
pretty
what are you
wonderful.
watching us for? Go watch Scott Pilgrim. It's so great. I love that
It's
movie.
way better
It's
than
so
us.
much
Oh
better.
my god!
Yeah.
So I have a funny story. One of my
Okay.
best friends saw that movie, loved it so much that he called me and told me to go see it when I sounded like I wouldn't really do it. Like I was like,
Aw.
yeah, sure. He's like, no, we're going today. I was like, what? He's like, it's important that we go.
Right.
And we go, we're like, the lights are going down. He's like, this is the third time this week that I've seen it because it's important that my friends give their money to this thing so that it get more movies like it get greenlit.
Uh-huh.
And then I did that to 2 other friends after that day.
But he saw it twice in a day.
He saw it 3 times in
In a
2
week or
weeks.
so.
In like
Oh,
the first
okay,
week.
gotcha.
Wow.
That's
okay.
still pretty extreme.
And then
That's
I
awesome.
saw it 3 times in the
yeah,
first
yeah.
week
Yeah,
because I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I have to pay it forward.
Lord.
For sure. That's awesome.
What a
Um,
good film.
what are some episodes that you're proud of now, but were really frustrating to write, act, record, and I'm going to throw in edit?
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the discouragement of working with something that isn't where you want it to be? Okay, this is 2 questions.
Well, they're two.
They're too good
Too
and
good and
related.
related
yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Episodes that I'm proud of, but were very difficult. There's always a couple every season that
Yeah.
are like really hard to write and really hard to get a grasp on. A Matter of Perspective and Shut Up and Listen were both murderously difficult to write. And I'm very proud of them now, and I think
Yeah.
that they are some of our better episodes writing wise.
I would agree with that.
But sort of like anything, it's funny. The editing challenge goes up the more action that something has. Like probably nothing has been harder to edit than Overture, with kind of all of its like explosions and moving parts.
Yeah.
Whereas Matter of Perspective and even Shut Up and Listen were both fairly straightforward to edit. But when it's just people talking to each other, and that is everything that is the conflict, those are really, really hard to put together. Yeah, what about you guys? What are some ones that were like challenging for you guys?
There's always 1 or 2 every season. And then season 4 happened, and they've all been difficult.
They've all been difficult this season in
Yeah.
varying degrees.
In varying degrees.
Yeah.
I would say
55, which is coming up, actually wasn't bad. I think that was the first one that I was just
Like,
like, oh, I just wrote that. That was easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't Poke the Bear is one that was very difficult. And that
Right.
I feel better and better about the more time passes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No,
there's...
but we kind of threw out like 2 versions of that script.
God, that script was nuts. And it was just, it didn't want to play nicely with us. It was really tough. So that was one. I think I think it was more nerves than like, it being difficult that Let's Kill Hilbert was just something that for a long time I just couldn't listen to. And then, time passes and those subjective feelings that inform how you look at a script go away and change, and now I like that episode a bit, and I'm proud of it. Yeah, and I would say this season, I think Out of the Loop is in that slot as well, of just something that was just murder to write.
Time travel. It's hard. It's
Who knew?
very complicated to write.
Yeah, who knew that it was complicated?
What about
What
you,
about
Zach? I
you?
feel that
Yeah.
like you more than us kind of take to challenges like a duck to water.
Yes.
Like I feel that every time that we're just like, oh, Zach, in this episode you do this like crazy acting
I'm
thing.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
took you so long? Why isn't there more? Yeah, my most recent fun run was the Bob sinking, which
Yeah.
Yes.
it blew me away that like by the time we were done, it was like 10 seconds of the episode, like maybe 25.
Took
And, like
2+ hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
Easy.
it took
to-
3
in
hours.
the studio.
Yeah.
At some point, I'll release the video that I took of me doing like the hour of Bob's side, trying to match the speed that I said things really fast as Eiffel,
Yeah.
with a bored, existentially like impatient demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
And like relaxedly, which was like insane because I couldn't do Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers before I walked into the studio. Period.
Yeah. Now
Learned it for Eiffel, did it as fast as I could, and then realized that I had to do it even
Yep.
almost
Yeah, yeah,
faster.
yeah.
And I think that we sort of talked about, like, do you want to, like, retake that and, like, slow down the Eiffel?
I was
And
like-
Zach was just
It's
like,
like,
no!
way!
Just let me do this.
That's not
Yeah.
that's not Doug. Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like I love that kind of stuff. I remember Memoria was one of the first like holy hell, in a way that I was maybe a little bit more quietly intimidated by an earlier episode by Am I Alone Now?
Right.
Where it was like, oh god, I actually have to like act as Hilbert. It's not just
Right.
like
Yeah.
do a
Do the funny
foreign
bit.
voice
Yeah.
that's like not Eiffel
Mm-hmm.
and talk, you know, sort of like it went. That's when he went from, I think, more distinctly a caricature to a character in my
Yeah.
performance and in my preparation. And yeah, I think that was challenging in a way that I maybe wasn't outwardly like, ooh.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
like Memoria was like, yes, like let's go. This is like, I think acting for me is at its most fun when it's bordering on a sport.
Right.
Because like I never
An
really was
extreme
into
Extreme
sport.
sport.
I'm never really into sports, but I love physical challenges that are varied, and acting provides that for me in things like that, where it's like, I need to sound like there's physics that aren't real, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
like really fun.
Yeah.
And it like I think set the bar for like people's abuse of themselves in front of the microphone as like we went on, and people have really stepped up to it.
Oh, people have thrown themselves.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's
And it
really
makes me
great
want to
see.
do better.
What about writing?
Writing is a totally different ball game, and in many ways, I feel like I've had it easy. I don't think there's like a crazy formal episode that I've taken on, and that's been like somewhat by design, because like I just haven't necessarily had the. I haven't designed my life to have the time to really work those things out, because they take time.
Yeah.
And they take like I think dedicated chunks of time, like full weekends, and I've just like had a really what's the word, Swiss cheese schedule as I've tried to make like 7 different like creative pursuits work simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I think the worst for my writing, and I've learned a ton looking over these guys' shoulders. I think
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of them stand out as like harder than the other ones, except for maybe the mini episodes, which just was like
Right.
a down to the wire. These are a lot of different voices that I'm not familiar with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like just a lot of full arcs to complete. It was just a different muscle.
No, those mini episodes are really
They're tricky.
they are tricky, and
Yeah.
especially those ones, because they really do have to feel, like you said, like they have a proper beginning, middle, and end, and like the characters change in the course of 10 minutes.
Right.
In a way that, say, Long Story Short has a different
Oh
kind
no,
of challenge.
that is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
And trying to do anything in 10 minutes, I find is much harder than
trying to do it over 40.
Yeah. Oh God.
What is this? So, Alicia Workman, this is more of a Zach question, but are you able to listen to the things you've recorded after you put them up? I mean, for all of you, do you actually listen to the episodes once they're up? I listen to
Yes.
every single episode. And I try to listen to it within the first 24 hours of it being up, because
He's very diligent.
He
about it.
is.
I, one, just want to know what we're putting out into the universe. Two, I am a fan of the show. I, like, enjoy listening to our show. And it's fun to like, hear it come together and compare it to what I thought it would sound like, and see where I'm surprised and see where things work. And, like, I think my acting has improved because of it. And it's a rare and beautiful opportunity for a performer to get to have their work, like, let alone have an audience, but like just exist, you know, with like all the bells and whistles to take you from the sort of mundanities of being in a studio in front of a smelly microphone filter
Right.
and, like, you know, hear yourself transported to a smellier space station.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I listen to them all. I don't know about you guys.
I do listen
I
back
do
to
listen.
older episodes. I find listening to season 1 episodes that aren't Am I Alone Now and the last 2,
Kind of difficult.
Deep Breaths and Gas Me Twice, a little bit difficult,
Yeah.
because it is a little bit of a, like, I think that around then is when I started
Yeah.
to figure out some basic sound editing and mixing things that I really should have known
Yeah.
Yeah.
around the start of the show.
Yeah.
So there's just like that little bit of like, ooh, that I could have fixed that. Ooh, that could have been better. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Right.
ooh,
Right.
ooh.
Right. Right.
And as proud as I am of the show, I am embarrassed by our early work. And
Yeah.
in a way that I'm not regretful. Like, I think it's possible
No.
to
Yeah.
be, like, in the way that I'm embarrassed by baby photos that I still can acknowledge are cute.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
No, that's exactly it.
I
Yeah.
feel ashamed when I see other people see it, but I don't think it shouldn't not, like, I don't think it should,
Correct.
like, be burned.
right,
correct.
right.
With that said, because I do
Yes.
sort of go through, I listen to like all the raw, not footage, all the raw tapes, and then I listen to the rough cuts, and then I fine cut it,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
a
I
sort
can
of
You'll
see
different
it.
ball
listen
game for
to-
you.
Whenever I'm done with an episode, I'm kind of done with it for
For
a
a
couple
while.
months. It takes
Yeah.
me a while before I'm like, oh yeah, I can listen to the Watchtower again.
Right,
And
whereas
that-
like
yeah.
it's been at least a couple weeks since I've heard something. And
Yeah.
so for me, I try and listen to it. You know, it not always within the first 24, but within the first 48, I've usually listened to something.
Yeah. I had the same thing when I was doing Focused AF, where I just couldn't. Like, I'd do it, and then it was done.
Editing is brutal, you guys.
If it was more of an interview-based thing, like if it was somebody else talking, I'd listen to it. But I just can't hear myself that, like, as narcissistic as I know I am relative to the rest of the population, just for how much content I upload on the internet, I just, like, it's not interesting or productive for me to listen back to sort of vloggy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can look back a year later and be like, oh, it's a video photograph, like it's like a
Yeah,
photo
yeah,
book.
yeah.
Right.
Like, how cute. Like, that was like a year ago. That's
Right.
I
so cool.
remember when we did that.
Like,
yeah.
there's a
Aw.
nostalgia that I love about watching my old movies, but, like, yeah, the moment it's done, it's like, this needs to be somebody else's thing.
Thing.
Yep.
Was Zach really Bob?
Yep.
Yep.
Uh,
Yes, he was.
It is Bob. It is Zach's voice with the same filtering that Cece's voice gets when she is actively, when Loveless sort of goes into the avatar state.
Yeah, that alien state.
Yeah.
right. We have +1 on a question
Okay.
that was already asked called, have y'all heard of, like, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet
Yes.
of 1812?
You've seen it.
I've seen
haven't
that.
you?
I saw that
Yeah.
play.
That's
Yes.
awesome. I've listened to some of the soundtrack and
Yes,
I liked
as
it.
have I.
Yep.
I don't have
enjoyed that.
anything smart to say about it.
No.
I enjoy that play. I don't have a overabundance of smart things to say about them other than I enjoyed them. I enjoyed it, and I also was left with kind of a odd editor's curiosity
About it.
why that particular chunk of War and Peace is what
Cried
they
out
decided
for-
to
yeah.
expand into a
Yeah,
musical.
you said that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't ever finished War and Peace.
I haven't read a
so,
single page of War and
Okay.
Peace.
I've read all of
But
you
War
know
and
the
Peace,
But
plot.
it-
I don't know the
and
plot.
It's
and
a thing.
more than know the plot, I think that Great Comet of 1812 really feels like it is, even if you don't know War and Peace, it does feel like it's part of a bigger continuing
Much bigger story.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
you do get that sense.
Right.
Yeah. Tolstoy's weird, you guys.
So I'm just going to go ahead and answer the question before I say
Ask
what it
it.
is.
Okay.
And the
Uh-huh.
answer is $1 million.
Oh no!
What?
And
Oh
it's,
no!
what are
we
What
doing?
At Zach Valenti, how much money would it take
Oh no!
to get the cast to play a real game?
Oh, the cast.
Funzo.
This is
Funzo.
fine.
We're fine. Send the $1 million.
$1 million a month, and we will will the end of the world into existence to play it and
God.
begin the end
Guys,
of the world.
Not-
Funzo
As
we
will
know
not
it.
be as fun as you think it is.
It really, really won't.
But for $1 million, we will invoke the apocalypse by playing the game. That is all 4 riders in one. Those are just cards that we didn't get to. In the... Yeah, they're just cards.
They're just
Yep. Those are part of the like
But if those are
mousetrap,
just cards-
Yeah, yeah,
mousetrap
yeah.
like mechanics that are also involved
That's
in the
right.
board.
Absolutely. The
Um,
board is sentient.
We should actually add that as a $1 million thing just for fun.
No, we should not.
No, we shouldn't, Zach.
But then it would be funny because people can
No.
screenshot it and be like, this will never happen.
No. We said that about the mini episodes.
We said that about not saying
some
fuck.
eccentric billionaire is gonna be like, I'm gonna ruin these people's year by making
Yep.
them actually have to create this game.
Dude, you give me $1 million for
No.
the month, I'll create that game. I'll play that game. I'll die. I will
No.
die.
No.
But it will be for a horrible cause.
Bryson Carter, whatever number it was, Zach.
Never play Funzo ever.
Yep.
Nice. $1 million stretch goal will end the universe. That's right, Rhinoceros Rex. All right, we asked that. This is it. Is the Eiffel who came back the true Eiffel, or should we be worried he's a duplicate?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I just realized that you will know in the next episode.
Yes.
The next episode will give you a fairly ironclad answer.
Am I or am
To
I
that
not?
Yes.
question.
The
It
Doug
will.
you're looking for.
I just caught up.
And it will
Yep.
also settle a couple of other things.
Indeed.
Yes. So you have that to look forward to.
And a lot to look forward to. 55 is a lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
What would Bob/dear listeners do when they find out the human race has not only more than one language, over 6,000, but also more than one case structure to build those language off of?
Ooh.
Ah, a linguistics
Fascinating.
question.
And I think my answer to that question is you are very smart. And I don't know what case structure is in a language.
I mean, I can only speak to this to a very limited
no idea how to begin to answer this.
degree. I definitely
Yeah.
don't know enough about sort of like, linguistic structure to be able to like really
Yeah.
talk about that. What I will say is, number one, Bob is meant to be a very intelligent being, but not
And omnipotent.
omnipotent and also not infallible. Like,
Yes.
he definitely has some not inconsiderable... They, I should not be speaking about this
Gendering,
being.
yeah.
Yeah.
Human genders. They have some fairly considerable flaws. And I think that sort of, their evaluation of, like...
Casual xenocide?
Yeah, casual genocide.
Casual genocide being among them.
And also
Yeah.
their evaluation of that, your brain is limited by sort of, this type of linguistic structure. I think that is making a very dangerous and very short-sighted assumption.
Indeed.
I think that from what he knows about Eiffel and sort of the memories that he's extracted, he's already probably... gosh darn it, just because it's played by Eiffel,
Yeah.
just because it's played by Zach, it looks like Eiffel.
And the name is Bob.
I know. Just from what they saw in Eiffel's memories, they can probably extrapolate the existence of those other languages. Just because even though Eiffel doesn't speak it, I'm sure that Eiffel at some point has heard someone speak French.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of the Romance languages, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, Bob was not terribly interested in language, per se.
No.
Yeah. I'm not sure that it would make an enormous difference to them.
Yeah, I don't think he would be terribly, or they would be terribly, shocked or, to take a cheap loophole in the question. What would Bob/dear listeners do? Well, I think Bob would do interesting, fascinating.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I think that this is also part of why the process takes so long. It accounts for,
Yeah.
we're getting a glimpse. Let's get another look. Let's see where things
Let's
develop.
actually
Let's see
see where
how
things go.
things evolve.
Yeah.
Ooh, but guys, have the dear listeners heard Toxic by Britney Spears yet?
I mean, I guess the
It's-
question is
how's
that
Eiffel?
yeah, they might
Yeah.
they might have access to Eiffel's memory of it.
Yeah.
That may or may not be enough for them
Count.
to actually listen to it.
Yeah.
I
not
think I'm gonna
sure.
say no.
Not yet.
Is Bob a single entity that makes up an entire, species, or are they just a single representative?
I think the answer to that is basically yes.
Yes.
Because Eiffel sort of asked, am I speaking to one or more of the beings that we were in contact with? And Bob just says, correct.
Correct.
And I think it is...
That is the answer.
Yes, I
Yep.
think that the more that you think of Bob as being very different than us, and that may include, as Jacobi and Kepler would put it, that the concept of individuality, the way that we experience it, may not apply to them. That is probably a wise way to think about Bob.
Before we get too far away from Funzo,
Okay.
the real important question.
Yes,
Let's give it its due.
Since Funzo was mentioned in Bryce and Carter, is it safe to assume that our two villains have played the game?
We were talking about this with someone earlier. Yeah.
There's
Um,
more to the question.
Oh,
Is
goodness.
this what started them on the path to villainy?
No, it is not. We'll confirm that much.
Yeah.
What I was saying earlier is that I feel that Price and Carter may have experienced Funzo secondhand.
Like the aftermath of Funzo,
And-
enough to know that it was no good.
And we were saying that it may be one of those things where at some point Cutter started a game of Funzo with Price, and Price was smart enough to, after 2 rounds, be like, put it back in the box. But we're having fun with, I said, put it back in the box.
Yeah. No,
Now
Cutter,
burn the
Yeah.
box.
Cutter would enjoy a game of Funzo all the way through, from beginning to end.
Yes.
He's the only person who would.
In the world.
Yeah.
Which is why he sent it up on the Hephaestus to force other people to entertain him. I just like the idea that he has security camera feeds
Yeah.
exclusively to watch people
Play
play.
Funzo.
Yeah.
Funzo. That's what happens when you fail Cutter. You just
Yeah.
you have to play Funzo.
Not the Funzo.
What did Cutter and Price do to pass the time from Earth to the station? Did they play games, write another manual, or just plot more evil? Well, we've established not Funzo.
We've established not Funzo.
Netflix?
You will.
You'll find
You
out.
will find out.
You'll
Netflix
find
and
out
chill?
more.
No, you'll find out.
I
They
can
did not.
confirm
They did not Netflix,
no
and,
Netflix
chill.
and chill.
No Netflix and
That
chilling
was
was
not
had.
a thing that happened.
Netflix and not chill?
No.
No.
Okay, no Netflix. Did Jacoby like any of Kepler's games, or were they all as painful as questions only?
You know, I think that a good microcosm of Jacoby and Kepler's relationship is in Long Story Short, where if you listen carefully, Jacoby, like the first 2 stories, kind of goes, "Wow,
Interesting.
thank you for sharing that, Colonel."
That was neat.
And it's just like as the density
It's
of it piles
worn
on,
out, yeah.
it wears down on him. So it may be safe to
Right.
assume that he enjoyed 1 or 2 rounds.
Is a better
of something.
question not, is there any other valid game than questions
Mm-hmm.
only?
I don't know, Zach. But let's
Are
not go down
we-
that path.
Are we doing this?
I mean,
No.
Really?
but what about if we did go down this path?
I regret.
Why don't you read the next question, Zach?
everything. I regret everything.
I will try.
No,
we'll learn
man.
more about.
I lost first, really, but
no,
that's
no.
fine.
We all lost, really.
It's really for the best.
including the audience.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Speaking of Cutter, how old is the man actually? Does he ever age?
No comments.
No comment. No comment.
Nice try.
Are Price and Carter human? Wink twice if no.
No comment.
No comment.
What if I blink
Eyes
Price?
closed for the rest of the night.
Lord.
How long have you known that Eiffel would need to go into the star in order to talk to the dear
We've
listeners?
known for a little while.
For a little while,
Yeah.
yeah.
Since the beginning. No, not since
Not
the
since the
beginning.
beginning.
I mean, it was definitely in our minds by the end of season 2.
Yes.
It was always sort of meant as that, like, that's a point of miscommunication. This is a point of
There-
these people not
yeah,
understanding.
We sort of knew the intention of
Yeah.
why the star was changing, what was going on.
Right.
Um,
But yeah, I think that may have gotten worked out at some point in season 2.
Yeah, and I feel
Yeah.
like it was very solidified by the time we were outlining season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the most interesting headcanons you've seen about the characters?
Oh, God.
Lord. I can't.
It's such
Yeah.
an embarrassment of riches that I don't know sort of like how
Yeah.
to like pick out ones.
Yeah, I'm trying to like just because there are so many and they're so great that it's
And they
hard
are
for
so
me,
wonderful,
It's hard for me
yeah.
to like think of one. Zach, help.
There was one that I liked about Eiffel sort of being slow in school and like really connecting with pop culture as like sort of a grounding. Yeah, I can relate to that, so I like that
Yeah.
one.
Word.
It's not quite about the characters, but some of my favorites are the ones that where people have sent me kind of their comprehensive theories about what the differences between our timeline and the Wolf 359 timeline
that's
are.
fun.
And sort of what they think the points of divergence in the history are.
Yeah.
So for the history nerd in me, those are very fun, and I enjoyed those a lot. Those are some of my favorites.
Let's see. I think I've been really amused by some of the before we sort of knew who Rachel was when she had been just introduced. As a
Sure,
concept.
sure.
People had some really great ideas for who that character was.
Yes.
That I really liked.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Here we go. Have Hilbert, Minkowski, and Hera ever gotten fed up with Eiffel and just talked in another language for at least a day?
I'm sure.
There is at least,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, a mention of that was cut from an episode once, and it was kind of one of those
Yeah.
things that would have required Emma and Michaela to actually like learn a considerable amount of Russian
That's
or French.
right. I remember that.
And there was just like not quite
it wasn't it
enough
didn't quite
time.
work.
It was a
Yeah.
little much.
It was a little much of an imposition.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty safe to say
assume.
that it did
Yeah.
happen.
More than once, I would think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we get too far away from the headcanons, we got a lot of Bifle love,
Aw.
which I also enjoy.
I
Ace
love that you
Maxwell.
have the Buy and Heliquai
The Buy and
shirt.
Heliquai shirt.
I really
It's
like
a pretty
that.
good shirt. I like that. It's one of my favorite shirts. How long had Jacoby and... Oh, it's a funny story about that shirt, if you haven't heard. First year we drove down to Dragon Con, and what the shirt is there was a piece of fan art, one of the earliest, where Eiffel was wearing a shirt that said Buy and Heliquai, and I found it online and bought it.
Yeah.
And wore it down to Dragon Con.
Yep.
When you're
Yep.
driving through...
From New York to Atlanta.
to Atlanta,
Atlanta.
you pass through places where not a lot of people have that shirt.
Yep.
Not a lot of people would wear that shirt.
But luckily, not a lot of people would, I think, recognize what that shirt entails, too.
But for those who do, it was definitely the shirt of polarizing
First impressions. I think
That's
we
right.
called it.
That's exactly what it was called.
Yeah, the
Aw.
shirt of polarizing first impressions. One of my favorite
Yep.
shirts.
It's
All right, here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you know Zoe. Is this Zoe? Hi Zoe. I'm joking. It's Zoe.
Okay.
But first of all, how could dare you?
Okay.
Second of all, Zach, what has been your favorite instance of acting opposite yourself? And third, my buddy Gabrielle, what has surprised you in seeing your writing interpreted by actors?
Everything. No, and I mean, God, earlier we were just talking about, in these episodes that we were recording, an actor sort of approached me and kind of went,
Yeah.
could I play this way? And my sort of first instinct was to go, no, that's not the way the character is written. But I sort of, as a courtesy, went, yeah, let's hear it, let's try it out. And about 2 lines in, I kind of went, oh my God, no, this is so much better than anything that I had thought about. And maybe we can share what that is
Later.
in a little bit of time once we've actually heard that. No, I mean, I think that we've talked a lot about probably Michaela is someone who taught us an enormous amount about who the character is.
Yes.
And this really kind of did a lot to show us what the humanity of the character was and sort of what the complexity of her was and sort of
Everything.
the humor
Yeah.
and the sort of like sardonic side of her and her
Oh.
impatience. And really kind of went from, I think, a character who we didn't even realize that we hadn't understood yet to kind of one of the joys of the show was having her
Yeah.
teach us about her.
Sorry, there's so much demand for a How Could Dare You shirt.
Oh, okay.
Not gonna happen, guys.
I might
You'll need the Wolf 59 black market, aka
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Zach Valenti black market.
I might do a limited run. We'll talk. They'd have to be awesome.
Lord.
1 second.
For the true fan.
Yeah.
Oh, to answer your question, Zoe. Sorry, Zoe. What has been your favorite instance of acting? So, I would say there's a all-time moment of just the like meta story of like sweating it out for the first Eiffel and Hilbert only episode or heavy episode.
Yeah.
Cigarette
Yes, and
Candy,
Cigarette
Yeah.
Candy.
where I had like 26 minutes to do like 22 minutes of
18
content.
pages.
18
something
pages
Yeah,
of
something
script.
like that. It
It
was
was
basically
insane.
like I had exactly as much time, almost like maybe with like a 5 to 10 minute buffer of like the runtime of the episode to record
Yes.
the episode, and it was just like we're doing this, and that felt epic. I would say like most recently the Eiffel Bob stuff, just
Aw.
the decathlon of needing to do quickness. was a really fun challenge.
No, and I think that it is a testament to Zach that the Watchtower is, let's be real, an enormous information dump.
Yes.
And it is basically exposition the episode. Zach makes it compellingly listenable. Makes it just like
Tense and heartfelt.
tense and heartfelt.
Exciting.
And dramatic.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do that. And it is... all while having no one to bounce off of other than
Exactly.
himself.
Yes.
You know, like that would have been an enormous challenge for two actors having sort of like the other person to react to.
No, he
to
creates
do it
his
all.
own contrast,
Yeah.
and it's really really cool
It is
to watch.
quite
I mean, I
impressive.
have
Yeah.
incredible fucking directing all the way through.
Oh.
Amazing writing to work off of, and I got you guys to run lines with in the studio, so you make it easy. I mean, you know,
Annals
Yeah.
music brings it together.
it's.
This
Yeah.
is true. This
Yeah.
is the true fact.
Have you heard of the Fermi paradox?
Yes.
Did it influence you?
Oh, yes. Fermi, which, remind me, Sarah, Fermi is kind of, the amount of space in the universe
Yeah.
makes it statistically, like, approach a possibility
Yeah.
that we will ever contact someone. Is that it?
Yes, I believe so. Because I know Drake's equation builds off the Fermi paradox.
Right.
And that's like the chances of us, you know, the number of intelligent, quote unquote, civilizations that are out there at any one point. But Fermi's paradox is, I think, about the chances of us finding another comparable civilization.
Clearly, it's something that at some point in our reading about these things we've encountered, I don't think that I was thinking about it explicitly when writing The Watchtower. I was much more in Carl Sagan land. But yeah, no, definitely sort of something that has been rolling around somewhere.
I'm looking at it.
Are you looking at
Oh,
it?
Yeah,
nice.
I'm like, what is this? I should watch this. This looks like a good video. Kerr's just got, it's a good YouTube channel. They do good animated explainers.
Cool.
Anyway, that's for another time. Marking that one as answered.
Hooray.
Why did Cutter instruct Hilbert to kill everyone if they made alien contact? With everything we know now, it seems like Cutter would see it as a waste of resources.
Well.
Good question.
Yeah.
I think that where the story has developed now, there might be a good argument for it being a waste of resources. I think that Team Evil would probably be a lot happier if the moment that they knew what was going on, the only people on that station were first Hilbert, and then Hilbert with Kepler, Maxwell, and Jacobi.
Yes.
Kind of being like the advanced team with no other
Interference of any kind.
and no
Yeah.
sign that the aliens had imprinted upon Eiffel, and that there was probably a good argument
For
for
keeping
keeping
him
him
around.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it was sort of that idea of like,
As soon
this is
as-
already going to be incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
The least moving parts on our side,
Right.
the easier this will be.
And just the ability to control the experiment, you know? Like, as soon as you know, make it impossible for them to deal with anyone other than us.
Yes.
Cool. Sorry about the chat was acting weird. I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Sorry, guys.
Should be better. Yeah, I don't know. My reading of that is that his understanding of the situation changed, and he's somebody who thrives off of improvisation.
Yes.
And is very impatient in particular. And I think earlier it was just like, yeah, kill these people and, you know, do your thing. And then Hilbert lost power and the situation just totally changed.
Makes sense.
But how long had Jacobi known Maxwell prior to the Hephaestus mission?
Ah.
I want to say
is
2
math.
years,
Yeah.
3 years.
Let's see, because he was recruited in 2010.
And she was recruited in late 11?
I think-
Late 12?
I think in 12. So I think by the time they get up to the Hephaestus, they've known each other for like 3 years at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question. Why did you choose quotes that you did for the merch store?
Yeah, Gabrielle. Why did you
Oh,
choose them?
I did not choose all of them.
I think they're quotes that have meant the most to us, things that we've seen that you've sort of reflected back to us as some of your favorites. We chose to do quotes because we're writers and we love words, and also from a design standpoint, it's a lot easier to do word-based merch with the graphic design resources that we have at our disposal and with the printing services that we use.
With that said, in terms of why we chose those quotes, honestly, we kind of one day sat down and went through the scripts.
Oh, that's right.
And there was just sort of a certain moment at which
We picked
certain
our favorite
things
things,
stood out,
yeah.
and it was just like, that's the one.
Yep.
And I think that it was just kind of one of those. And in some cases, there were some that we were like,
Maybe.
maybe, put it in, and we don't find something. And then later on, it was, yes. I think the only one that we knew pretty immediately was Kepler.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, no.
It's that one.
Yep.
And now there's another Kepler one, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
We have a mug that's, I like the feel of it.
In my hand, because what else could it be? Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
How do you feel about endings where everything is revealed to have been a dream? Can endings like this still be satisfying in their own way, or is it just bad writing? Talk to me, Shakespeare.
Tone down those expectations.
Yeah, buddy.
Shakespeare. I don't love them. I
Think that they
You know, I
undercut
think-
the
I
emotional
think-
significance of the entire fucking story?
a little bit. I think that perhaps the only time that I could see an argument for that was actually a very impressive and bold way to end the show like that was, I believe it is the Bob Newhart show.
That's right. That is
Um,
the one. That
and
is the
it's-
famous example.
Yeah, and that is just such a titanically bold maneuver. Where if anyone doesn't know, basically at the end of... So Bob Newhart had a previous sitcom
Yes.
that had been very successful and ended. After that, he started the Bob Newhart Show, did about 5 years of it. And at the end of the Bob Newhart Show, at the very, very end of the last episode, he wakes up in bed next to the actress that he was married to in his first
previous show.
sitcom.
Whoa.
And it's revealed that the entire Bob Newhart Show was just a dream
In the
that the
other
character
sitcom.
from the previous sitcom was having.
And that is a very
That's
specific.
amazing.
Yeah, and because
instance,
the
yeah.
sheer hubris of it, I think, is
Yes.
what makes it
Carries the day.
hold for me.
Yeah.
That's just such a mind F. I love that. You basically have to do a triple Lutz to make it work, and if you do, you're a genius. Like, that is a genius move.
It-
Other than that, I think that my big thing is, like Zach said, sort of things need to have emotional weight and emotional consequences.
Yes.
And you know, and even things like a character coming back to life when we thought that he was dead, or
Right.
sort of like, you know, something being revealed as not what we thought it was. All of that can still have the emotional consequences of what we lived through.
Yes.
It's very hard for it was all a dream to not then translate to, and then it was all easily forgotten.
That's the thing.
And I think that makes those endings really hard
They're
to
very, very tough.
maneuver, unless it really is Inception, which I quite like.
I was gonna say, like, Inception is the only other movie that, like, they
Yeah.
don't tell you either way. I think. Unless
I
I'm
agree.
missing-
No,
It
I
is.
agree.
The text leaves it up to you.
And it's the point of the movie,
Spoilers for Inception.
Uh,
which is really like just a
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it's really hard, and I think
it's a can of
you know
worms.
it gets to what you said is no matter what happens, there needs to be emotional weight and emotional consequences for the characters, and Inception has that. Whatever side of
right.
the you come down on. I think Eternal Sunshine does a great job of that as well. Of
Oh
these-
yes, Eternal
Yeah.
Sunshine is a great.
These people
But it-
find
That's
themselves,
amazing.
Right.
even though their memories are different.
Yes.
and,
Right.
like I love that ending because they will keep, finding themselves because they are their authentic self.
And I
no
guess kind
matter
of what we are arriving at is that what matters is not whether the mechanism of it was a dream, it was not a dream.
Right.
But sort of the reality of is there sort of like something that is made consequential
Yeah.
by what the characters are going through. And if that happens, then it
Then
can be a
can it work?
satisfying ending.
Yeah, it is very, very
Um,
tough to do.
I think that through Eiffel in the Watchtower, you get a little bit of a preview of my general feelings towards it was all a dream, and then he woke up, story plot twists.
Yeah.
Indignation.
Yeah.
What is each character's prized possession?
Oh.
For Kepler, please give an answer other than his whiskey.
Well, his whiskey's gone, so.
Yeah, he has to live without it.
Yeah,
Still
so
live without
Jacoby. Asked and answered.
I mean, what do we think about Minkowski? Her harpoon?
Oh, I know.
She
Her
likes her
jetpack
harpoon.
thingy is broken, so.
Yeah, I mean, we just take all the characters' prized possessions
We
away.
take them all away.
Yeah. Eiffel probably has some amount of affection for that photograph that we'll never mention
that
ever
we,
again.
That we shall not speak of.
Yeah.
Hero has really no possessions.
No, at all.
I mean, for Hero, maybe the Hephaestus.
The Hephaestus?
Justice itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the colors that only she can see.
Yeah. Jacoby maybe has, like, I don't know, something from the first demolition that he
Yeah,
ran.
he has like a
Some,
piece of
like,
shrapnel.
yeah,
that, like-
exactly.
yeah, or like some antique bomb from the First World War that was at Verdun, and
Yeah.
like he has it now, or something.
And if she still has them, I think that Lovelace's music recordings
Yes.
probably mean a lot to her.
I don't know that she does, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, those cigarettes.
Oh. Also, we take everything away.
We take all the fun stuff away from them.
Yep. When writing for Wooden Overcoats, was there any stress/pressure of writing something with already established characters and continuity? And if so, how did you deal with it?
If you guys
No.
haven't listened to Wooden Overcoats, you should, and you should especially listen to this man's Fun Fragment. Great mini episode of Wooden Overcoats.
Well, I don't know about that, but the show itself is wonderful. No, not at all. It really felt, just absolutely like a wonderful opportunity and like so much fun to just, because it's one of those, you listen to a show like Wooden Overcoats and you're nothing, as a writer, you're nothing if not jealous of the writers that get to play with those people and to get to put them in ridiculous situations. And to then sort of get asked to do that yourself, that's like a dream come true. And it was all enormously fun. David K. Barnes and his team made it just a joy to work with them. They provided me so much support. They were great to bounce ideas off of. David had wonderful suggestions and great edits to my script. So no, there was never sort of a moment where I felt alone enough to feel nervous. It was always just going from the delight of getting to work with those people and those characters to going to the delight of having the support that I needed in order to get the script from 70% to 90% and onwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. This may be my favorite question so far.
Great.
Okay.
Just, hey guys, I'm a new patron and this is my first AMA.
Oh my God!
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome.
Thank you for being
Welcome.
here.
So
Oh,
awesome
we're
to
so
have
glad
you
you're
here. And thank
Okay.
you to all of our patrons and really like the support that we've seen in the last couple months has just knocked our
guys,
socks
it's
off.
been incredible.
So thank you. So hopefully you haven't been asked this question before. That's very sweet, but don't worry about it. I think there's a log that somebody's been keeping of all the questions asked. I don't know.
Good Lord. God bless you all.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not.
Also, thank you for having the AMA on my birthday. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Oh,
Oh,
Oh my God! Many happy returns.
Happy birthday!
No.
Cheers.
Consider it sung. Even though I won't be able to tune in live since I'm a busy physics master's degree student, but I'll watch later.
Congratulations.
Oh, my word. Wow, that's amazing.
Better.
Somebody make a note of the time stamp in
Yes.
the comments or
So
something.
that they can.
So that they can find it. You might have to wait until it's over, but thank you in advance. It's birthday, watch it later. Best birthday present after a long day. Anyway, to the question.
Mm-hmm.
During May Day, Eiffel
Uh-huh.
hears many voices that I interpreted as him talking himself through his situations
Sure.
via his peers that would be perhaps fit to handle it a lot better. However, there is one voice that I haven't been able to place, the one that tells him what the name of the Hermes is. Who is the mysterious voice, if you can share? Thanks in advance.
I think that's
Minkowski?
I think
believe
she's
that's
still the
Minkowski
one.
at the
Yeah.
front, yeah.
Yeah.
And is that the like? There's an effect to make it sound a little.
Oh, it's a
dreamlike?
little whispery. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that fades pretty quickly. Yeah.
No, it's
Um,
Minkowski.
Yeah, no, and if I remember correctly, it is in order. First Minkowski,
Then Loveless.
then Lovelace, then Hilbert,
And
then
then Hera
Hera.
at the very
Yeah,
end.
and those are the 4 voices that he hears.
Yeah.
And that may be just sort of like from the audio quality, it may seem like a different voice. But no, it is. Yeah, no, I remember now. Yes. No, it is when he's talking to Loveless.
Oh.
He sort of has a quick moment when he's kind of going, oh my god, there is a relay station, it's the, and there is sort of like a ghostly whisper, the Hermes.
And
then
it's-
he realizes that is in fact Emma's voice. That is
That's
Minkowski.
Minkowski doing
That is
it.
Minkowski. Yes.
That's
yes,
what I
yes, yes.
thought.
Cool.
No, it just took me a moment to remember sort of the sequence of it. And it is not that obvious because he's talking to Loveless and just there's one whisper of Minkowski in there.
Coming back
Yeah,
in.
that's what that is. But nope, that is Minkowski's voice.
Cool.
So here's a question, and if you guys have final questions, I'm gonna say like 15ish
We'll be
minutes.
wrapping up
Cool,
soon,
cool,
yes.
cool. Yeah, throw them in the chat.
And so here is the question. This is a big one
Mm-hmm.
for the creators. What is your fondest childhood memory?
Good lord.
So
None.
I'm not gonna give you
Misery,
a comprehensive
pain,
answer because I can't think of one.
Darkness.
But the most,
Joyless.
the one that I've been thinking about most.
Darkness.
Thwomp. I have the thing that one of our film professors gave us.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a fun vintage space sound.
Yes.
It's a little tiny.
I'm
gun.
sorry, Zach. You were actually
You were
trying to answer
saying
the question,
you were
please.
you were being lovely and earnest.
So yeah, my grandfather used to have a farm that was eventually sold, but and like they weren't there very often. We didn't spend a ton of time there, but we tried to make it up for holidays. But the groundskeepers lived right next to the main house, and one summer we were up there. So like, I don't know, like there's just this moment of my childhood where I was out there alone at dusk in like the front yard, and there was a bush, and there were these like freaky, bright red eyes staring out from the bush that I was convinced was like a living thing that was like watching us and maybe an alien, and it was unclear.
Mm-hmm.
And like years later, I still think about that moment, and I know that there are Halloween like motion sensing eyes in the bushes, and like I wonder if they belong to the person. But at the moment, I was like too freaked out at the time as a little kid to like go up to the bush, and I just love like. This is definitely not the quintessential like Zach's fondest childhood memory, but I
Yeah.
think about it a lot. Just like the wonder of like, holy shit, I'm like both terrified and compelled that there is something that I can't explain,
Yeah.
and will never know, one way or the other.
Yeah. You know, I have a lot of sort of like just like generic fun memories of like hanging out with my cousins and like, you know, sort of like, you know, building Legos with friends, things like that.
Yeah.
You know what's something that I was like that like came to mind as like, oh, this was huge in my youth. I think like the first time that I saw Hunchback of Notre Dame when it was in
Aw.
movie theaters. And I especially sort of remember like the very, very opening of it, where sort of that's the like that ghostly choir over the Disney logo,
And the
then it's just
beautiful
like
animation.
that
Yeah.
smash cut into like this cathedral rising over the clouds.
Yeah.
I remember sort of like as a kid watching that, kind of going like, whoa, my god, this is amazing in a way that I don't think I'd ever really considered. I think that was sort of like one of my first times of like really kind of looking at movies as sort of a like, this is something that
Powerful
like
thing.
somebody drew, and this is something that like somebody made, and oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah.
No, I have a couple very similar movie moments like that. Jurassic Park and the first Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, Fellowship was big.
That was pretty huge.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of like, yeah, I don't know that I have something that is, you know, wins the trophy for fondest childhood
Yeah.
memory. I have lots of fond memories. I think maybe like learning how to ride a bike and the feeling of accomplishment and freedom
Yeah.
that was there. That's something.
Nice. That's
But
great.
Sneaking into Jurassic Park was another one.
Yeah, I remember the first like stop motion movie I made
Nice.
as a kid, like in what was it? Whenever Windows ME was a thing.
Oh God.
What was it, like
That's-
2001?
When dinosaurs
2002?
roamed the earth.
Exactly.
No, it must have been.
That's
Maybe it was
like
2001, 2002.
That was late '90s, early aughts, I think.
Yeah. Basically, my dad got me my first computer when I saved up and bought a video camera because I wanted to make movies, and so he like rewarded my like diligent saving and
Aw.
artistic desire with something to actually edit it with, so I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't just be like shooting the first scene and then needing to shoot the second scene and like do it like old school style.
Right.
Yeah, I remember bringing a inanimate thing to life and just the magic of that. So there are stories like that. Windows ME is an operating system that should never have existed, and it's a good thing you don't know about it. and
Yeah.
I
You're
would
better
say
off.
Keep it that way.
You're better off.
do whatever you have to do to forget that you ever heard about it.
All right.
No,
Do we
don't-
want to
don't actually do
say
it, whatever? But
4 more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about
Last
right.
call. So,
So,
if you have anything that
Put
you
it
want to
in the
know, put it in the chat.
Let us know.
what did Eiffel do with Team Jacoby before Securite?
Probably like slept a lot and
Probably recovered.
recovered. Yeah.
Well, whatever he did, he already had a.
Opinion about Maxwell.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
already didn't like Maxwell
Right.
by the time they
Yeah.
got
I
to
would-
Hephaestus.
I would say that they made Hilbert's physicals look like a water park. No,
No,
But-
no.
but no.
They did not.
But I don't
I'm
know.
also like, is a water park good
Or bad? I'm
There's
not
a lot
quite
of
sure.
fluids.
Yeah.
It's gross, but ultimately
But pleasant?
Ultimately, like designed to be entertaining, whether or not it is.
Sure.
Not sure if you.
Or what? Very conflicted.
What was your physical like this year?
Like a water park.
like.
Ooh.
Not sure if I want to know more details.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes, all of us who know what Windows ME is can feel old.
Hooray!
Hooray. Yes.
Yes. indeed.
Were any of the characters bullied in school?
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
Absolutely yes.
Oh yes.
Except for Eiffel. Mercilessly. No. I don't know.
No, I mean we
Yes.
obviously don't like to go much into like the backstories of the characters. I think it's safe to say that a lot of them were.
We have a question. Will we ever confirm any of the character sexualities? And I'm like, listen, stay tuned. I don't think it's one of those things that's like it's not a preoccupation of the show. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You already have some information on a couple people. I think
Yeah.
it's fair to say you will get information on more people before
Right.
we're done.
Like we have what we have in the special, which is now in the feed of the main show, which I don't
Correct.
think was true the last time we went live.
It was not.
No, it was.
Oh, when did it go?
It went live August 15th.
Oh,
so
that's
definitely
right.
up by our August.
Birthday,
Yeah,
birthday.
which I don't think I maybe mentioned. I don't remember.
Whatever.
Okay, let's see. In the live show, Cutter said he couldn't remember a rule from Price and Carter. Did he forget what he wrote, or was he just being coy, testing to see if Eiffel knew it?
100% coy testing.
Coy.
When you think Cutter's,
AF.
there's an
Yeah.
option, or he's being coy. The answer is he's being coy.
Especially if it was Cutter forgetting something, was Cutter
Yeah.
making a mistake, was Cutter not noticing,
Asking for
almost-
help.
almost anything like that.
Yeah.
It is.
He's doing
There's
it
some ulterior motive.
theatrically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rhinoceros Rex says Loveless was super gay for the computer virus. I felt it. We'll move on. If Wolverine 9 was a crime show like
Oh,
Law and
dear.
Order, who would be a lawyer, detective, judge, and criminal of the week?
They would all be criminals
They
of
would
the
all be
week.
they're all terrible, terrible people.
I would say Lambert is the lawyer,
Lambert
No.
would be Lambert might be a judge.
He might be a
is the
judge.
barrister.
He would be-
is the public defender.
He would be the public
Of the-
defender.
He
That's
would
correct.
be the public defender,
That's correct.
actually.
He would
The
never
public
work
isn't
in
gonna defend
a
itself.
corporate law
Yeah.
firm. He would be. a
Lovelace
public-
would be a good detective.
She would.
And like in a different
Yep.
life.
Yeah, she might have
Yeah.
Yep.
enjoyed that.
Kepler would be a fair but a rough but fair judge.
Ooh, Kepler might be
He
like,
might be a DA, man.
or like sort of like a really squirmy defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sort of.
Ambulance chaser.
Yeah.
All right, I
Yeah.
think then Minkowski would take judge.
Minkowski would be a good judge.
Oh, she would be.
Yes.
The judge.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then I think criminal of the week is Eiffel every week. I think
Pretty
Eiffel
much.
would be
You
like-
again.
He would be like the Hamburglar, but of real crime.
I mean, the problem would have to be that this would be like Law and Order, petty crimes. You know.
Yes,
Right.
this would be
Yeah.
Well,
like
let's be
civil
real.
asset.
like whatever jail they're putting the Hamburglar into,
Yeah.
they really need an audit because that guy seems to get out.
Way,
Very
way too
frequently.
easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it would be a similarly loose coop for inmate Eiffel
Yeah. Yeah.
in this situation.
Lord.
Ha, I strike again with my inanity and my
Mm-hmm.
pop culture references. Why does Gabrielle hate pineapple and ham pizza so much?
Because it's awful. And it's awful in a way that it, like, you know, corrupts a perfectly wonderful and beautiful thing. Like, you see the perfectly great pineapple less ham pizza there, but, like, it's just been contaminated, made impure. And it's a substance that, like, you know, there's some bad pizza toppings that you can just take off and the pizza's still good. No, the pineapple taints it. The pineapple bleeds into it. Zach is just like, I'm just going to say, until he's done ranting. I'm just going to let him tire himself out.
Uh-huh. I have a funny story about pineapple and pizza. I used to think it was really gross. I thought it was like an abomination. I thought it was a crime against pizza manity. And then
And then you tried it.
and then I was
you
at
tried
a I think it was like basically an impromptu, unfortunately, wake. It was
Oh, no.
basically somebody in my family passed away. Surprise, sort of as a surprise. It was last minute. It was one of those like everybody come out to Long Island to like where we live,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like we'll have a truck come and bring pizza, and we'll just like be together.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking, and I just like was like, give me the vegetarian pizza, and they gave me a pizza slice, and I had it, and I was like, it was all right. And I looked, and it wasn't a vegetable.
It was
It was
Pineapple.
pineapple with other vegetables, and I was like, you know what?
Ugh.
I didn't die. This is not as gross as I thought it was, and
You know,
I finished that slice of pizza.
For some reason, I'm not quite sure how, and I kind of suspect that it was an episode. There's like a joke in the Powerpuff Girls about pineapple and pepperoni pizza,
Mhm.
and my brother loved pineapple and pepperoni pizza,
Yeah?
and I think he got it from that. And eventually, I tried it, and it was like, this is fine.
No, it's not. That's a lie.
Yeah, like I'm not
But,
gonna go
like,
out and
I-
get it. Like I'm not gonna spend my hard-earned money.
No, but
on pineapple and pizza, but if there were no other food available, I would have it again.
Wow.
I would
Also-
eat it.
Team
It's
Starve.
fine.
I think I did a pretty good job with
Team
the emotional
Starve.
ebbs and flows, whiplash of my pineapple pizza story.
No, that was pretty great.
I've said this before in other inmates, and I'll say it again. Riley from Inside Out got it right when, you know, her inner anger emotion has that explosion where it's like, you know, broccoli on a pizza. Congratulations, San Francisco, you ruined pizza. First the Hawaiians, and now you. I was like, thank you. Somebody articulated the song of my soul. It had to be Louis Black, of course.
Of
That's
course.
amazing.
Who else could it be?
Have you tried a slice of pineapple?
Yes,
Okay.
I have. I am haunted to this day by the memory.
That's amazing.
I think
Um,
it would not be as amusing if you weren't as indignant about it.
It's pretty great.
No, it's like all my like, and there's a reason. Like for whatever reason, a lot of people in my life, especially during my youth, were like highly skeptical about my not liking pineapple, and we're like, no, you must have just not tried it right here.
Right.
And sometimes that included, we're just gonna give you something with pineapple, and like under the assumption that you're gonna eat it and not
Yeah.
notice, and then we'll be like, you just ate pineapple. And I noticed every
Yeah.
time because my gag reflex works. So no.
Anyway, now that we've had
Now we've made fun of Gabrielle's taste buds.
this for well over 5 minutes.
Oh man.
I think we may be up to our final
Yeah.
question.
Yep.
Yeah.
First, I just want to put something to rest. I know somebody was upset that I added the word "koi" to their question, or it seemed like upset. I will sometimes riff on these questions. There's a lot of them. If I stumble, I will make stuff up, as Gabrielle and Sarah know all too well. Sometimes it makes it into the final episode. So yeah.
Often.
Often.
It is an improvement riff.
Yes.
How do you find and choose the classical songs for the Alien transmissions? Do you have a list of your favorite pieces that you work to include in the show, or do you have a
That
mood
would've been smart.
for an episode that you search that and like fits that mood? So first, there's like a legal
Yeah.
Much more the
element.
latter.
There is a legal
Yes,
element.
there
We're-
is.
We need to find, and one of the reasons why we picked like old transmissions is both like there's that cleverness of it, like it's from Earth a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but like
been
it's
traveling in
mostly
space.
yeah, but it's mostly because like
It's
holy shit, we don't want to
Creative
get
Commons.
sued.
Yeah.
And if we can get a piece that's old enough and in the public domain, we're all good.
Yes.
And classical music often not only has things that are in the public domain, but also things where the pieces themselves and the recordings are Creative Commons pieces.
Yes, which means that they can be used
Yeah.
freely. You don't have to worry about any sort of commercial distribution, anything. They're just free to use.
So a lot of the times our choices are limited by
Yes.
by what we can find in the Creative Commons.
And there's been more than once
Um,
where we've written something into the script that just wasn't available, and so we had to find a different piece.
Yes. Recently we wanted to use from Mikhail Glinka the overture to Ruslan and Ludmila.
which is such a great piece.
No luck.
Nope.
No way we can find it. No, I think that the honest answer is there's no list and there's no sort of like moodness to it. Like I'm trying to think if there was sort of like much more of a process to picking, say, Pathétique in the Watchtower, and I don't think that there was. I think it was
No.
one of those like I was writing. I got to a point where like there needed to be music. I had like a moment where I was just like, what is sort of like a song that I feel if I were watching the movie of this that someone else made
It
would
would
begin
fit.
playing now.
Yeah.
And it was like Beethoven Pathétique.
No, that's...
And I think that one of the big things about it is that I don't know much about you, Sarah, but I do quite enjoy classical music, and I listen to a lot of it, especially when I write. So there is sort of a repertoire of it. I imagine
Yeah.
that if I was kind of like a little bit more stranger in a strange land with it, I would be a little bit more systematic about it, and I would be kind of like doing a little bit more research, a little bit more picking up.
Mine was the carpool where we listened exclusively to classical music and opera arias.
Nice.
So that was my life as a child. So I'm pretty well versed, and it really is just sort of like, oh, this is where the piece needs to go, and let me take 3 minutes and the 1812 overture that has cannons in it. This is going in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the times, and there have been times when the piece has not been chosen until the edit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only time that I was like trying to be systematic about it is we have sort of gone back on this, but there was originally like the pieces were
they
going to
kinda
get
get more and more
modern.
more modern.
So like
Yeah.
for constructive criticism, I was trying to find a piece that was more recent than Bolero, and we ended up using a different piece
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm saddest about is the pilot had a song that was like worked with the title and some of the lines, and then we found out that after having done some due diligence around the rights, that there was some risk that we maybe couldn't use it, so we swapped it out just to be safe.
Yeah.
And I think it was the right choice, but it does make me sad that like music rights are this tricky to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that, this was a song from like the 1910s, and it was sort of like, I cannot believe that like it is this difficult to even get a straight answer on
Yes,
whether it is
whether
in
it's-
copyright
That
or
was
not.
that was the thing, is that for a lot of this it was just like we just didn't know.
And we don't have
Yeah.
the budget to hire a lawyer
to find out.
discover.
Yeah.
Yep, not for, yeah. If it was one song in one episode, it'd be one thing. But so last question, just because it was relevant. somebody wants to know, and I don't know if this will ever come up again. What was an example of Zach adding, like ad-libbing, making it into an episode?
Oh, I remember in Am I Alone Now, when Eiffel is having his section in Am I Alone Now, there's a question that's like, what are 5 things that you most miss? Or sort of something like that. And
Yeah.
he goes, whatever he goes. It's like TV, pizza, pornos, monster trucks, and pay-per-view, or like, whatever it is.
I think it says booze or something.
Booze, yeah. And I think that at the end of it, Zach, you ad-lib something along the lines of like, yep, haven't changed, or like, yep, still me. And the script just sort of like stopped at like just like the 5 things. It was just like very straightforward. But he put that in there, and it was just like, oh yeah, no, that's so in tone and so in character. Yeah, there's a lot in the first season that is kind of. There's a lot in all seasons.
This is true.
And it's hard to kind of come up with examples because it's not like the 3 times it happened. It's probably closer to the 100 times that it's happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
And there was more space for that sort of thing in the first season.
This is true too.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
also true. Things have kind of gotten a little bit more exacting, a little bit more.
The oxygen has gotten thinner as more explodes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. You are
Yes.
not wrong.
But yeah, thanks for asking. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us. I
Yes, it
don't
does.
think any of us presume that we would have a community as vibrant and
No.
supportive and creative and fun as you guys have, and gals and everybody in between and beyond. Yeah, we love you, and we're so grateful for your support in these times we get to hang out every month.
Yeah, it's amazing, you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and we will
Thank you.
see you next month.
Yes. And look for update to the feed later tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, all. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
There's a button here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, then there's